So we were sort of experimenting with the boundaries between the city and the office, and so we did that with, with chalk. We did that with rearranging chairs in different ways, and kind of with our own laptops, and signaling that we had events. So we had signs, and we of course invited people to the events, and these were things that we were interested in experimenting with. One of we had 3 different types of events. We had co-working events, so these were ones where people would show up to work on their own activities, and they weren't expected to actually work together. And then we had a series of events on mobile work, and this photo is from the Wall Street Public Atrium, and we brought together corporate human resources folks to talk about the employees that they were thinking about either making mobile, or the mobile employees that they already had, who, what kind of needs they had, what kinds of places they were trying to work in, and how to support that. And so this is an event that we had to facilitate that discussion between the more grassroots co-working communities and the corporate kind of HR folks. And one of the women who attended was a mobile usability expert, and she said she liked to do mobile usability testing on the subway. So again, kind of reaffirming that people are appropriating these public spaces in lots of different ways to do their work. Here's actually a photo of an event that I ran with my class in design and management, the innovation class at Parsons, and I invited corporate anthropologists and others to attend this event, and it was an event that we went out and did ethnography. So this was part of a series of events called Flash Mob Ethnography. So the idea was, let's bring a group of people together and go out and document the signs of the economic recession in the Union Square area, and then bring all that data together and see what we can learn after a short time period. And one of the corporate anthropologists that attended said, too much of my work is proprietary. I want to learn about how ethnography is practiced in the design world. So I think having an event in a public space signals to someone that it's more open perhaps than in a closed office environment. So that's what attracted her to the event, and that is something I'm very interested in. So I'll pick up on that in a little bit. Here's a photo of the second session in the Flash Mob Ethnography series of events, where we brought together designers, filmmakers, and ethnographers to come together and code the 250 photos we had taken in the earlier session. And so we were able to sit together as a group. Actually, this is in the Sony Public Atrium in Midtown, and we sorted for themes. For example, the Virgin Megastore was going out of business, or there were some, there were plenty of for rent signs around this area. And so we documented that pretty extensively in a 1-hour event, and then took this event, we actually looked through the photos to see what kind of themes we could identify. Here's one of the last events that we held. This was bringing furniture designers and architects together to think about what are the kinds of architectures that could be designed to support this kind of mobile work. And here's a picture of the end of the 2-hour event. We broke off into 3 little groups and did a lot of brainstorming, and then we were, at the end of the event, some of the architects were pinning up their tracing paper on trees and using tables as sort of presentation bulletin boards. And so it was a lot of fun, and you saw a lot of people coming by and doing kind of a double take, like, what are they doing here? And so, yeah, that was a series of events that was really thinking about, well, what could we design that would support these activities? And again, my position really is that, these are already things that people are engaging in. They're cultural practices that are becoming pretty common, and how can we think about designing to support those practices? So now I'm going to show a short video clip. We partnered with a group called City Lab in Barcelona, and they held their own series of events. They are an innovation lab and a research center that they do technology training with kids, with elderly folks, and they're interested in events that are kind of going to bring together their community and think in new ways about work. So I'll show the video. Okay, whoa. Hold on. on. Sorry. Just going to have to pause it for a second. But, you know, so, oh, okay. Yeah, it's down. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, and I'll probably go back to the beginning. Let's see if I can. So what's interesting about what they were doing is actually they were able to engage the tram company. Well, one thing we did learn about working with them was that there was a lot of need to get official clearance in order for them to do these events. And so they were able to engage the tram company in a series of conversations, and the tram company was quite interested in the idea of building urban screen interfaces for trams, or thinking about new ways to create a more, say, participatory environment on the tram, because they have certain tram lines that are subject to a lot of graffiti. And this was one event that sort of prompted their thinking about, gee, maybe there's something, you know, more interesting or more productive that we could design that kids, you know, in this neighborhood would find interesting, like maybe a game or things like that. So it was actually did sort of help them think through, well, what might be some alternative ways of using that tram space. So finally, I'll just present a couple of thoughts. I'm trying to currently work on a book proposal called The Open Source City, which tries to link the project on mobile work with the Breakout project and some of the other more recent projects I'm working on. And the vision that I have for this, for, you know, the sort of design agenda, to build socio-technical systems that respond to community needs and enable micro-local sharing economies to visualize and leverage knowledge about resources for positive social change, and especially now working in the areas of health, sustainability, and food ecosystems. So essentially this is taking some of the underlying changes that in media studies that we look at, some of the ways in which the internet has shaped our society, and thinking about how to apply that to physical spaces and new forms of organizing and information sharing in local communities. So the current projects that I'm working on at Cornell, I'm actually studying a group of designers here at Parsons, and the DESIS project, which is a Rockefeller-funded project called Design for Sustainability and Social Innovation, trying to learn more about how designers collaborate in face-to-face settings. Then also studying doctors at Weill Medical Center and trying to understand their virtual collaboration practices and what kinds of technologies might better support their work. And there are also a number of projects on mobile health both with teens in Ithaca and also cancer patients in New York. And we're also working on an augmented reality campus tour and looking at issues of emotion and social connectedness and how that might play out in an augmented reality map. And finally, I'm doing a lot of grant writing to try to get funding to work on an urban wildlife tracking mobile application with a colleague in Japan. So those are some of the current projects. And again, I'm glad to be a part of the conference, and thanks very much.